Last season, they were tagged as the Eagles of the Championship as they soared over every challenge. But of course, promotion to the Premier League meant that they had to take it a notch higher. And in monetary terms, they did take it slightly higher when they spent over £100 million in the summer transfer window. And 8 game weeks into the Premier League so far, and they seem to be doing well. They are roaring, and they've adapted the dark horse tag with their draws against the Manchester clubs, and that means that they are the team in form. And of course, on today's episode, we will be taking a critical look at how FPL managers can take advantage of the team in form. That's Wolverhampton Wanderers. We are back after this. Welcome back, and of course we are the Torches Bar in the Kanishi Sports Complex, and guess what? We caught our Liverpool versus City game right here. We sat here, and I think you should try it sometime. It's a pretty cool place where you can always catch your matches. And before I introduce my guest, my FPL expert, here is today's trivia. And so far in the Premier League, which keeper has made the most saves? Yeah, it's not that hard, and you should get this week, hopefully. But then, yeah, I said I would be introducing my FPL experts. Enoch, how you doing?
I'm good.
A good week for you. You're a Chelsea fan, so it's looking very good with that Liverpool Man City draw, right?
Yeah, my team is doing great, and then I was hoping actually that Liverpool draws, and they did. And 2020, Sariba will get us there, hopefully.
Hopefully, and unfortunately, you are on the drawing side against Manchester City. A good result, a fair result for you?
I think it's a fair result. I mean, given Manchester City's strengths, I think it's a very fair result. We'll move on from here.
Okay, yeah, they will definitely move on. And now moving on to the FPL angle of things. Of course, we start with our recap segment, and we start with our prize rise. He has said that he's in the form of his life this season, and that's Matt Doherty. Yeah. He's now increased to a 4.7 million, and it makes sense considering he was the highest scorer in FPL just this past game week.
Doherty is doing amazing. He got the winner against Crystal Palace. Because of their system, Doherty is benefiting from the 3-back. He's a wing-back, meaning he can go forward and drop deep anytime they are under attack. They can go forward when they are attacking. You could see the tactics of Nuno is helping, and that Doherty is a good differential. You need him in your team. He's the secret weapon to most of our FPL players, and that's what is getting him, and that's what is getting all FPL players points.
You said a differential, but hopefully in 2-3 weeks time, I don't think you would be saying that he will be a differential, because his value seems to be shooting up pretty quickly. And Richarlison, after his red card, his price dropped, but I think after his weekend performance is a fair amount for him to increase, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Richarlison scored a goal over the weekend against Leicester City, so I think, he's going to do well.
He's going to do well. And interestingly, we saw him being deployed in a number 9 role. Is that a familiar sight for us, or was it just an experiment that worked on the day?
I think it's an experiment which seems to be bearing fruits. And I think he's going to do well over the long period because they have good wingers who would supply him with the balls. And then he seems to be a very good target man for Everton so far.
Okay, good target man. And another Everton player that we have to look at, and he's also experienced the prize rise, that's Gylfi Sigurdsson. He got his 50th Premier League goal over the past weekend.
Yeah, for Sigurdsson, he's an amazing player. He's been an amazing player over the past 2 years. Sigurdsson is actually the player that they all play around. Walcott, Bernard, you can talk of what our brother just spoke of, Richarlison. He's a player everyone plays around. He's like the decoy in the team. And when you have Sigurdsson, you could see the winner against Leicester City. That was a brilliant 10 from Sigurdsson. That was a wonderful goal, and I think he's going to contest for the goal of the tournament.
Definitely contender for goal of the season. And a player who he started the Premier League season so well, but unfortunately things are not going well for him. And if things aren't going well for you, that means that there would be a price for. And that's Roberto Pereira. Yeah. He's just off after that incredible start of the season.
As we all know, the whole Watford team seemed to have just gone down their performances. Pereira hasn't given any assistance to the team since, I think, game week 3 or so. He's been very quiet throughout their abject performances this season. So it's quite understandable that his price will go down.
Yeah, and another player who has been pretty quiet recently is Theo Walcott. And
Yeah, I would like to call him the English prospect. He's been a prospect ever since he was young, ever since he started.
He's 29.
Yeah, he's actually 29.
Wow.
They still call him a prospect, and that's amazing. But honestly, considering his figures, I don't think his price should fall. But then when you're looking forward, you get to understand that because it's the FPO, because when you're not getting the points and people in similar positions are getting the point, the Frasers, the Brooks, they are all getting the points, then people will definitely sell you. And when you are being sold, then your price will fall. So it's because he's being sold. But then he has 2 goals, he has 2 assists. To me, that's not bad out of 8 games.
Yeah, of course. And another player who hasn't been so fortunate in terms of good fortune, and you look at Alvaro Morata, and over the past 2 games for Chelsea, he scored 2 goals. He looks like he's finally rediscovering his form, but people are just not patient with him just yet.
Yeah, so he seems to have rediscovered his form off the bench. Unfortunately for Morata, he's lost the starting berth to Giroud, who is a much cheaper option than he is. Although he came on over the weekend and scored a goal, a lot of people have actually gone for Giroud instead of him. So that explains his price fall as well.
Okay, definitely explains his price fall. And we have to move on to our hot topic, and very, very hot topic this week. And it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they've been the boogie team so far. They are 7th in the league, just 5 points below Manchester City and Chelsea and Liverpool. So essentially that means that they are title contenders as things stand, and maybe they can go all the way, maybe they can't. But as of now, we need to take advantage of these Wolverhampton players, and we look at their performances this season. How good have they been?
Okay, so Wolves have actually done quite well this season. As we all know, they were the strongest newly promoted side coming into the season, and I don't think anyone expected them to do so well. They've played 8 matches, they've won 4, they've drawn 3, and those two draws came against Manchester City and then Manchester United. So I think they've done very well, extremely well actually, and then hopefully they would keep up the strong run, and we would see wonders from their players.
Definitely wonders from their players. But then let me come to you, Enoch. They spent over 100 million buying tons of players, and they had to do that if they wanted to compete in the Premier League. It seems to be working for them. That means that there's something that Nuno Espirito Santo is doing well with the squad. And can you talk us through what type of system is being deployed in this Wolverhampton side?
Oh, okay. So for Wolves, what Nuno is doing is that he's playing the 3-4-3 system. What we saw Antonio Conte do in his first season at Chelsea. But amazingly, when he came, he realized that his goalkeeping department, his back 3, because for that system, you need a very good goalkeeper who is a ball-playing goalkeeper. You need a very good back 3 who are good holding the ball when the teams are pressing to release the pressure off the midfield. You could see that when they are playing and they are defending, they defend with 5 players because the wing backs then draw deep, comes to join the defenders to make sure that the back is tight enough. The holding midfielders, who happens to be in Moutinho. Moutinho has the experience from Sporting Lisbon. Rui Patricio has the experience from Sporting Lisbon. They actually left because of what the president was doing, not because of footballing matters. Yeah. They are really good. And then when they are attacking, you could see they attack with 5 players because the wing backs also join the attack. Then Costa header, you have Raul Jimenez, you have Jota, very good holding the ball, very good interpositional play. Wolves, for Nuno, he knows what he's doing. He's about ball playing, and now you could see that all the 3 teams who are leading the league table with the 20 points, they all have a system. If you don't have a system, then your team is not going to work for you. Nuno has a system with a 4-3-4 formation, and it's working perfectly for them. I think they will go far, if not make Europa at least.
He says they will go far, and I want you to take a very objective look at this. How far do you think this Wolves team, we saw Watford start the season pretty well. Are they going to die down? Are they going to lose momentum going into the season?
I honestly don't think so. Like he said, they have a system. It works. They've been playing with a very consistent starting 11 so far throughout the 8 games of the season. That's true. I think they are going to do well. They may most likely get a Europa position, but I honestly see them placing top 10, definitely.
Top 10 for you, and that would mean that the players would need to carry the form that they are already having. And we are looking at the team right now, and there are some key anchors in there, and you take the coach and the system aside. There are some outstanding players who seem to be really doing well this season, and we start from the goalkeeping department, and that's Rui Patricio. He's at 41 points already.
That's not actually strange. That's not new. We all know Rui Patricio to be a very good goalkeeper. He's actually the starting goalkeeper for Portugal, Portuguese #1 goalkeeper. Although he's wearing the number 11 shirt as Wolves.
I found that pretty strange too.
Yeah, that's strange. But then he has kept 4 clean sheets. He's good with the ball. He actually kept them in the game against Crystal Palace with 2 brilliant saves.
Yeah.
With Rui Patricio, you are assured of more points because he's going to keep a clean sheet. They've kept 4 clean sheets. They are back 5. I don't want to say back 4. They are back. I don't want to say back 3. They are back 5 are doing superbly well. They can hold the ball. They can play from the back. When you have a goalkeeper who is comfortable, he commands the defense. You're going to get the points. He has 41 points so far, and he's going to get more.
That's incredible because I actually have a friend who captained Rui Patricio in game week 8, and he got some dividends. He ended up with 18 points, and you know, I captained Kane, and he gave me just 2 points. I'm sure before the game week, if I told you I was captaining Kane and he told you I was captaining Patricio, you'd have probably laughed at him. But he got 17 points more than I did. So FPL definitely is for the bold. And speaking of the bold, we look at Doherty. He seems to be a very bold player who's in form right now. He's 49 points so far. He's Wolves' highest scorer in FPL.
Yeah. So Doherty, as you already know, assisted in the previous week and then scored the winner against Crystal Palace in their most recent match. He's been deployed as a right wing back by his coach, so that definitely explains his attacking forays for Wolverhampton. And he seems to be very confident on the ball. That's one thing I've noticed about him. For someone who bombs down the wings on the right, his touches, his distribution, it's just something to behold. It's just a sight to behold. So I think they are going to do well. Like I already said, they have a system and it works. And I mean, unless injuries or anything come up that is going to destabilize or derail the team, I think Wolverhampton is going to do really well at the end of the season.
Yeah, and up next is another defender, and that's Bolly. He got the very fortuitous goal against Manchester City with that handball, and he has 39 points so far this season.
Yeah, Bolly is actually an interesting player to watch. Watching their system, Bolly is part of the back 3. He's there with Cody, and he's there with the other player. Bolly got the goal that actually gave them the draw against City, like you rightly said. But then, apart from that, when it comes to defending, in their game against Manchester City, you could notice that anytime City were attacking, they were attacking through his side. And then if you attack through Bolly's side, this is what happens. You expose yourself at the back to Header Costa to hit you. You expose your back for Raul Jimenez to hit you, because he will draw you deep. He draws them deep so that they attack. And then he's strong. He will get the block. You can't go past him. He has a 0.3% of players actually going past him. And that's amazing. That means that every game week, only like a player gets past him, or no player actually gets past him. You can't pass the right side of the defense to score Wolves something.
Yeah, so definitely their left side is assured. Then he, of course, partners another defender. That's a wing back in the form of Johnny at the left side of Wolverhampton's defense. And Johnny, he's also been a very good revelation so far. He came from Atletico Madrid, but he's on loan. He can play both a right back and a left back, but he's been deployed as a left back. And of course, he's also enjoying the season so far, 38 points.
38 points for Johnny, I'll call him. And then Johnny too is amazing. You could see that when Nuno came, he noticed the system he wanted to play. He noticed the players he needed to pick. And then Johnny was rusting at Atletico. He needed him. He knew what he could do. He brought him in. He's part of the back three. Cody, Bolly, Johnny at the back. You are not going past them. He has a goal. He has, I think, a goal and 2 assists. He's been doing amazing week in, week out. You can't go past their back 3. They've kept 4 clean sheets. You can't just go past them. Forget about the midfielders. Pass the midfield. Come and meet us. They are the Rock of Gibraltar, I call them.
The Rock of Gibraltar. And of course, even if they show up at the back, they need to get in some goals. And that's what Raul Jimenez has been doing. He concludes our chapter on Wolves. But I think he's also been a very great attacker. He's had 35 points so far this season.
Exactly. So Jimenez, as we already know, is the focal point in Wolves' attack. he's a very good and strong front man. Most of the balls go through him. He hits well. He's good with his feet. I think he's going to be a very good stalwart for them throughout the season.
Definitely. Hopefully, Raul Jimenez and the whole Wolverhampton team can maintain their form and go through the season and finish very strong, considering the amount of money that they invested during the transfer window. That wraps it up for our hot topic. And up next, we need to get into the differential picks. And we all need to climb in our mini leagues. And in order to do that, we need to, take a step into the kingdom of the bold. And we need to be bold. And starting with that is Brooks. He's owned by just 0.6%, and he's had 27 points so far. He scored in back-to-back game weeks, and he looks like a man in form and wouldn't be so bad to have him in the next game week.
Yeah, like I always say, anytime you're looking at the creative midfielders, then you have to put into consideration their strikers. When you have Brooks and you have Wilson and Kane in front of him, anytime a ball goes to them, they are going to score. And then Brooks himself is a very good goal scorer. He's a good differential. He's got 2 goals so far. Hediao trusts him. They know what they are doing with their team. Fraser is scoring. Brooks is scoring. Their strikers are good. For Bournemouth, they trashed Watford 4-0, and then Brooks got 2 goals in that game. And then you could see that Brooks is in for the kill. If you have Brooks, you're going to get at least 4 points.
At least 4 points, and he's the prophet when it comes to FPL, and we need to start taking him definitely more seriously. And you had Ramsey last season, and you had him for your differential throughout, and he didn't fail you. And it looks like this season he is taking that ship again, that he can be a very good differential. He has proved it so far this season, and he's the second top scorer in terms of FPL points for Arsenal. He probably got the goal of the season contender. Well, last year against Fulham, I think that was an incredible team goal for him. Ramsey has a good differential pick for you?
Definitely. Ramsey has proven to me personally that he's a very good differential pick. Last season, he was just outstanding for his price. And this season, he's proven to be a good differential as well. As we already know, Unai Emery's system seems to be picking on. Arsenal have won 9 games on the trot. Arsenal is going to do very well this season. They might be in the shout for title contenders, actually, from what we've already seen. They are currently 4th or 5th, I think, on the 4th on the league table, and they will definitely do well. Ramsey is definitely going to be influential to Arsenal doing really well this season.
Definitely, he would be influential. And I looked at your team, and you were saved by Pereira, Pereira from Leicester, and I am saying that he's a good differential because I think he's been deployed as a winger, although he's a right back. So if he's getting some clean sheet points, he is definitely getting further up front. So I think it's a good balance in that if you want to get a differential. And he's done very well this season.
He's doing very well this season. It's sad that when I got him first, he was injured, and then I didn't take notice of that. And I started him and I got 0 points. But that notwithstanding, he's very good in front of goal. He's very good at defending. When it comes to the transition from defense to attack, you get him there. You could see that during their goal the goal was actually a counter-attack. It was a quick transition from defense to attack. Kelechi had the ball, gave it to him. He went past his marker like he wasn't there. And then it was a beautiful goal. It was a brilliant dummy from Pereira. And then he saved my FPL actually. And if you are watching, you have to know that he will save yours.
Definitely, Pereira can be your savior in the upcoming game weeks. And of course, last week, most people captained Harry Kane. And even if you went with an Aguero or a Salah, well, guess what? All 3 of them drew blanks. So it looks like we need to take the captain picks a little bit maybe more serious and consider a whole wide range of options when we are choosing our captain picks. And this week, of course, we had to include Aguero. They play Burnley at home, and we know that Aguero has managed 10.5 FPL points in all his home games this season. So at least we can trust Aguero for this game week, right?
Yeah. For Aguero will be a perfect pick. Actually, they are playing Burnley at home. They drew against Liverpool. They are title contenders. They are in for the kill. They know what they have to do. Aguero is going to give you goals, and they took him out actually. Not for anything. They took him out for tactical reasons. They also took him out for him to rest because you could see that he wasn't getting the ball. So for Burnley, I'm sure he'll be released, and then captain him, you get your points.
You definitely get your points. And I want you to take the next two Arsenal players. That's Lacazette and Aubameyang. You can take them individually and do a comparison. Who would you go for? They play Leicester City at home. I know you have a Lacazette. You probably wish you have an Aubameyang too. But who would you be captaining this week if you had to choose between the two?
If I had to choose between the two, it would be tricky, but I think I'll go for Lacazette again.
Is it because he's cheaper?
Yeah, he's definitely cheaper. And I mean, it goes without saying. Ideally, you'd want the cheapest option who can give you the most points.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely go for Lacazette. But Aubameyang has just proven that anything Lacazette can do, he can do better. As we saw in the recent game, Arsenal won 5-1 against Fulham. He came off the bench, I think, in the 60th minute or so, and scored 2 goals and gave 1 assist. I mean, that shows a striker who's very hungry for goals and hungry to perform and show his manager what he's worth. So I would most likely go for Lacazette, but I think people can look to Aubameyang as a differential captain option because he seems very low on ownership, and then I think he's going to do very well as well this season.
Okay, and we move to Bournemouth, and they're also the team in form. And you look at Callum Wilson and Joshua King, and we've picked Joshua King as a captain pick. Do you think he'll be a good captain pick for this week?
Bournemouth against Fulham, I'll captain King. I'm definitely going to captain King. You have King, you have Brooks behind you, you have Fraser behind you, you have Callum Wilson, who doesn't really necessarily want to score, he wants to create. They are all playing for Ken. They all believe Ken is their man. Ken is the man. Ken is the man on set pieces. Ken is the man on penalty duties. When they get it, they are going to score. When he gets it, he's going to score. They are going to punish you, and he is going to be the punisher. My captain pick.
Okay, your captain pick. And lastly, we have Glenn Murray of Brighton, and they play a Newcastle side who are yet to keep a clean sheet this season. And good captain pick?
Definitely a good captain pick. I mean, Murray is the front man in Brighton's attack. He's a very tall striker. He has good abilities with his feet. He has good abilities heading the ball in the air and that kind of thing. I mean, Newcastle unfortunately have been terrible defensively this season, so he could definitely capitalize on that.
So thank you very much, gentlemen. And of course, do you want to share with us who your captain pick will be this weekend?
Aguero, definitely.
Aguero, and who are you going to?
Aguero seems like the sensible option.
Well, sensible option. And Harry Kane was the sensible option in game week 8 against my Cardiff side, who are really struggling. Things didn't go well, but hopefully Aguero can maintain his good form at home. And remember, our trivia for this week was which goalkeeper has had the most saves. And yeah, I'm not going to give a drum roll this time, but then the winner was Lucas Fabianski, and he's of West Ham, and he's just one ahead of Joe Hart in terms of saves. He has 36 and Joe Hart has 35. And Justice Pace, though, you're still on top, and you seem to be opening a very wide gap, and it looks like you are still in the league already, and we are just in October. Hopefully you will slow down for us to catch up with you. I hope you learned something new. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope to see you same time next week. All the best in the upcoming game week. And remember, Fica Lindo, which basically means stay beautiful.